The studio lights were brighter than usual that night. Johnny Carson stood at center stage, smiling the way he always did, but something felt different. The audience didn't know it yet. The band didn't know it yet. Even the cameras didn't know. Backstage, John Wayne, the man America called the Duke, was sitting quietly in a chair, holding his hat in his hands. For the first time in his life, he looked small. He wasn't there to promote a movie. He wasn't there to tell stories about horses, guns, or the Old West. He was there because he knew something the audience didn't. And Johnny Carson knew it too. When Johnny finally announced him, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my friend John Wayne." The applause exploded. People stood, they cheered, some even whistled. To them, he was still the strongest man they had ever seen on screen. But when John Wayne walked out, his steps were slower than anyone remembered. Johnny walked forward and shook his hand, but instead of joking right away like he usually did, he held John's hand a second longer than normal. "Duke," Johnny said softly, "it's good to see you." John smiled. "It's good to be seen, Johnny." The audience laughed politely. They thought it was just another one of his lines. They didn't understand yet. Johnny invited him to sit. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The silence felt heavier than the studio lights above them. Finally, Johnny asked gently, "How are you really doing?" John looked at the audience. Thousands of faces. People who had grown up watching him ride across deserts, stand tall against enemies, never back down from anything. His voice came out quieter than anyone expected. "I'm getting tired, partner." The laughter stopped. The room changed. Johnny leaned forward. "Tired from work?" John shook his head slowly. "No, tired from fighting." Everyone knew what he meant. Cancer had been chasing him for years, and for the first time, the toughest cowboy America had ever known looked like he was ready to admit something out loud. "I spent my whole life playing men who never quit," John continued. "But tonight, I just wanted to come here and say thank you." Johnny swallowed hard. "For what?" John looked straight into the camera. "For letting a skinny kid from Iowa become someone people believed in." The audience grew completely silent. He continued, "I've shaken presidents' hands, stood on the biggest sets in Hollywood, rode horses across deserts that weren't even real deserts." He smiled gently. "But what I'll remember most is that people believed I was brave." His voice cracked. "And sometimes that helped me be brave for real." Johnny's eyes filled with tears. The band members stopped moving. No one dared interrupt. John Wayne slowly removed his hat and placed it on his knee. "I don't know how many more rides I've got left," he said quietly. "But I wanted to ride here tonight." Johnny reached over and placed his hand on John's shoulder. "You'll always have a place here, Duke." John looked at him with a soft smile. "That means more than you know." Someone in the audience started clapping. Then another. Then another. Until the entire studio stood again. But this time, it wasn't excitement. It was gratitude, red. Johnny stood too. And for a moment, he didn't speak like a host. He spoke like a friend. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said, voice trembling, "there's only one Duke." John Wayne stood slowly, tipping his hat one last time. "Good night, folks." And as he walked off stage, even the strongest cowboy America ever knew couldn't stop the tears in his eyes. Broken heart.